Christina Alvino with FindView Marketing. Wanted to take a couple minutes today and talk about why, as a business owner, it's so important that you own or have admin access to all of your digital assets. So it might seem like a bit of an abstract thought because digital assets aren't tangible. It's not something that you can touch and feel. But as the business owner, it's extremely important that you have access to and you control your digital presence. So why is that? There are two main reasons. One, if you don't own it, you don't control it. And two, if you don't own it, you might not have access to it when you need it. So what are some of those things that you should have ownership or access to? So they are things like your social media pages, so your Facebook page or your Instagram profile, your website domain, your business listings, so things like Google My Business and Yelp, the Google Analytics account attached to your website, the content management system that powers your website. So that would be something like WordPress. And then, of course, all of the images and content that are written for your website, you want to make sure that you retain ownership of all of that information. So this stuff's really important when you're working with a third-party vendor, but it's also extremely important if you have an in-house team or if you're allowing your facility managers to help with your marketing efforts. So for example, if you are working with a third-party vendor, one of their services might be to claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. So when they're doing that, they are also setting themselves up as the owner of the page, which in Google's eyes is then the owner of the business. So if something happens and you decide you need to make a change and you fire your current vendor, well, now you're not going to have access to that page to be able to give it to a new vendor or to be able to manage it on your own. You're going to need to go back to that original vendor that you worked with and hope that they're going to give you ownership and access to those pages that they've claimed for you. Or you're going to need to go through the process of trying to reclaim them for yourself, because Google still sees the other person as the owner of the business because they're listed as the owner on the account. So it's totally fine to have a third party claim, manage, be an owner of those pages, but make sure that you as the business owner also have access to all of that information. The same goes if you have an internal team setting up and managing accounts for you. So let's say that you have a manager set up a Facebook business page for you. Anytime that a business page is set up, it's typically also linked to the personal page of the person that set it up. They are automatically set up as an admin of the page. They have the ability to add additional admins, editors, whatever, access to as many users as they need to for that page. So make sure that if you're having even an internal team member set up pages for you, that you are also set up as an owner. Same reason, something happens, that team member leaves, or you have to fire them for some reason. Same thing, now you're not an owner of it. It's actually even harder with something like a Facebook page to go and get ownership of it because it's attached to somebody else's personal page. So you want to make sure that as the owner of the business, you have access and ownership rights to everything about your business online. So go check, see what you have access to, make sure that you can log in and get to or share information, share the login information with somebody about your Facebook page, your Google My Business page, your website. Make sure you retain ownership of your site. All of those things that as the business owner, you might not even think about the fact that you need access and ownership to those because you might just assume as the business owner, it doesn't matter. But in the eyes of these software giants, whoever is listed as the owner on the account is the owner of the account, whether it's the business owner or not. So go out, make sure you have access to those things. If you don't, Ask for access now so that if something happens in the future, you don't have to worry about it then. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. We will be sure to get back to you. And otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.